Public Schools. And it has been customary for us to have a Facebook Live session. We did this last year. It was well received by the community and our staff. We are appreciative of all who are joining us this evening as we respond to questions and provide more information on our back-to-school activities and events. Joining me in the studio this evening are Dr. Tina Manglemott, our Chief Academic Officer, and Nancy Carlson, our Supervisor of Health Services. We have several members of our leadership team joining us on Facebook this evening to assist with questions. They will respond or comment on questions in the chat as the program moves forward. Beyond this evening, I encourage you to visit our school division webpage, www.nnschools.org, for up-to-date school information moving forward. Additionally, you may continue to receive timely school-related information via phone calls or email, so we encourage you to update your contact information with your child's school. So we'll get started. Let's start with the first day of school, which will be Wednesday, September 8th. We look forward to the arrival of students next week, and this year we will open our doors for 5 days of in-person instruction for students. In addition to in-person instruction, our staff has worked diligently to create a virtual learning academy for secondary students, and we've also partnered with Virtual Virginia to provide limited virtual learning opportunities for elementary and secondary students. Unlike last school year, we are mandated by Senate Bill 1303 to open our doors this year with in-person instruction this school year while adhering to CDC safety guidelines to the maximum extent possible. So we are opening for 5 days of in-person instruction as a result of that Senate bill passing this year. Beginning tomorrow, September 1st, middle school student schedules will be available in Parent View and Student View for the start of the school year. High school student schedules will be posted on Friday, September 3rd. If students or parents have a concern about the schedule, please contact your school counselor. Printed copies of student schedules will also be available at student orientations this week. Let's move on to transportation. Transportation information including bus stop pickups and drop-off times is now posted on our website. Visit nnschools.org and click on bus stops and zones to locate the bus stop closest to your home. Enter your school address. I encourage families to sign up for Here Comes the Bus, which is a service that we provide in Newport News. This service or app allows parents to view the real-time location of their child's school bus on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can see the location of your child's bus both before and after school and receive push notifications or email messages when the bus is a certain distance from the bus stop. The Here Comes the Bus app can be downloaded from the App Store or Google Play for free. Visit our website for more information. In addition, child care drop-off requests within the child's school zone can be submitted online. For families who plan to drive their children to school, and this year we strongly encourage as many parents as possible, if you are able to drive, please opt out of transportation by emailing bustopt, I'll spell that, BUSOPTOUT, bustopt at nn.k12.va.us. Please include your child's full name and schools. We will continue to use the yellow 3-card system. Families of preschool, PEEP, and kindergarten students are given a set of 3 yellow cards. 1 card must be presented to the bus driver by a responsible adult each day before the student can be released from the bus. Families are given 3 cards so that they may share with individuals, including daycare providers, who have permission to meet and receive the student at the bus stop. This is an important measure to ensure the safety of our youngest students. So, important dates coming up. Schools will host orientations and family open houses this week, so students and families may be acquainted with the learning environment. Please contact your child's school for more information and other questions. In-person preschool and kindergarten open houses for students and families will be held on Thursday, September 2nd. Families are asked to attend at the time specified for your school. Virtual open houses will be held for grades 1 through 5 grade students and families on Thursday, September 2nd. Again, your school will contact you via phone and email with the time of the virtual open house. In-person middle school student orientation will be held tomorrow, Wednesday, September 1st, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for 6th and 7th grade students. School bus transportation will be provided for orientations. We ask that you visit our website for the time and place of your child's bus stop, and to make sure you have the accurate information for that. A virtual middle school open house for students and families will also be held tomorrow on September 1st. Again, your school will contact you with the time and login information. And finally, in-person, high school student orientation will be held on Friday, September 3rd from 8 to 11 a.m. for 9th grade students and 1 to 3 p.m. for 10th grade students. School bus transportation will be provided. Visit our website and click on bus stops for the time and location for your bus stops. And before we move on to technology, I just want to mention that one of the challenges we will see this year, we are facing a bus driver shortage. So if there's anyone listening this evening who would like to drive for Newport News Public Schools, I'm going to plug in a unsolicited announcement there. We are looking for bus drivers. We do feel that we are confident that we can maintain our bus routes at the beginning of the year, but there will be challenges. So parents, please be patient with us as we move into the start of school. Let's move on to technology support. To better align our technology with students' needs and developmental stages, over the next 2 years, we will be transitioning our youngest learners from Chromebooks to iPads. By the 2022-2023 school year, students in pre-K through first grade will all use iPads as their primary technology device. Pre-K students currently have iPads. Kindergarten students will transition from Chromebooks to iPads this fall. First graders will be switched from Chromebooks to iPads at the beginning of the 2022-2023 school year. And students in grades 2 through 12 will continue using Chromebooks for the foreseeable future. Make sure your Chromebook is ready for the start of school. If you haven't used your device in a while, now is a great time to take it out, power it up, and make sure everything is working. Here are a few tips to help you get ready. Power up your Chromebook and connect to the internet. This will allow your computer to get the latest updates from Google. Plug in your power adapter and make sure your battery is charging. If your Chromebook has a cracked or broken screen, bring it to one of our Chromebook clinics or contact our technology help desk. And I'll have that number up in a moment. If your device has been lost or stolen, come to one of our Chromebook clinics or contact our technology help desk. And the number for our technology help desk is 757-928-6979. The NNPS technology team is ready to help make sure your student device is ready for back to school. They will be hosting several Chromebook repair clinics throughout the city over the next few days. Technology staff will be on site to assist families or students who might need technical assistance in repairing or replacing Chromebooks prior to the start of school. If you're not able to make it to one of our clinics, help is just a phone call away. Please contact our technology help desk again. The number is 757-928-6979. We are also committed to ensuring that every student can participate in online and blended learning anytime, anywhere. We are now a one-to-one school division, and we plan to maximize the use of technology where appropriate. Our Connected at Home program provides no-cost internet solutions to eligible families who might not otherwise have reliable access to the internet off campus. Please call us, and there again, the technology call center, 757-928-6979, if you need assistance in getting your NNPS student connected to the internet. In the areas of child nutrition, and we'd like to also provide some kudos to our child nutrition staff for the great work that they're doing to serve our communities. Our child nutrition services team is ready to serve nutritious meals when students return. For elementary school students, breakfast will be available for grab and go when they get off the bus. They will eat breakfast initially in the classroom. Lunch will be delivered to classrooms. Middle school students will also grab and go breakfast to eat in their classrooms, and then lunch may be eaten in class or the cafeteria. Students will come through the line and take their food back to their classrooms. High school students will proceed through the serving line for both breakfast and lunch and eat in the classroom or cafeteria. Again, our goal during any of our meal times is to provide a safe environment with maximum distancing possible while students are enjoying their meal. For our virtual learners, all elementary schools will serve breakfast and lunch from 1 to 1:30 p.m. each day. Parents may pick up meals during this time, so we will have meal service available for virtual learners during that time, 1 to 1:30 each day for parent pickup. And now I'd like to turn it over to Nancy Carlson, our Supervisor of Health Services, who will review some of our COVID-19 metrics and review our mitigation strategies. Ms. Carlson?
Good evening, everyone. Our COVID-19 community transmission rate right now is in the highest zone. Our cases per 100,000 for last week are 335. The UVA model, which is a predictor that is located on the Virginia Department of Health website, is indicating that for the week of October 3rd, the Peninsula Health District case burden will be 2,127 cases for that week. That includes the entire Peninsula Health District. For the Hampton Roads area, the peak will be 9,322 cases for the week of October 3rd. There is a public health order that was mandated from Governor Northam that all students and staff and visitors will wear a mask inside a school building regardless of their vaccination status. We will have students and our student athletes who are playing close contact sports wearing their mask. They may remove the mask, say, on the football field, but when they're on the sideline, they should put their mask back on. And due to the fact that none of our elementary age students are eligible for the vaccine at this time, and that our area is in the highest transmission rate for COVID-19, masks will be worn outside on the playground when social distancing cannot be maintained. Some of the prevention strategies that we will be using in our schools when we open up, again, are the universal masking of everyone indoors, physical distancing to the greatest extent possible, and then we will use additional prevention strategies to protect our students, teachers, and staff. Some of those additional strategies include staff members using gowns, gloves, and face shields, depending on level of student care that they are providing. We will not be excluding any students from in-person learning to maintain the minimum physical distancing. Instead, we will layer multiple prevention strategies that will be essential when we are unable to maintain the least of 3 foot of the social distancing between our students. We are offering student vaccination clinics that we are collaborating with Riverside Hospital. To date, we have vaccinated over 900 students ages 12 to 18. The next clinic will be Tuesday, September the 14th at Warwick High School from 1 to 4. All walk-ins are welcome, and we will continue having the vaccination clinics throughout the school year. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Tina Manglamott, Chief Academic Officer.
Thank you, Nancy. Good evening, everyone. In Newport News, we are so excited to have our students return back to in-person instruction. we have been preparing all summer to ensure a safe, welcoming, fun, and engaging return. Tonight, I have the privilege of providing a brief introduction of all the new changes we will be implementing this fall. The first and most important are the curriculum revisions we worked on in collaboration with our student advancement team, our teachers in the classroom, our building leaders, and our curriculum supervisors. The first is we identified our priority standards. As you know, there are the Virginia Standards of Learning, and there are many standards within each content area. We identified the most important of those standards to ensure that we are maximizing our instructional time, but also providing our students with the opportunity to dig a little bit more deeply into the content and make meaningful connections and be able to apply to cross-disciplinary ideas and subjects. We also really wanted to focus on a whole student, right? It's not just about the academics. Our students, many of them, have not been in the classroom for over 18 months. We are really focusing on how do we build relationships and community when we return. We've readjusted our pacing so that when we come back to school, our students don't have to right away do math or take a test or dig into some abstract science concept. We really want to build community with our students and provide opportunities for our students to engage with each other and to engage with their teacher. We also looked at our curriculum in social emotional learning. Every morning, our elementary students will meet together with their teacher, and they will dive into different topics about student wellness, grades, getting along with each other, a variety of topics. We also have social emotional learning curriculum that we've integrated within our middle school curriculum as well, and we're building that into the schedule throughout the day. We really take our profile of a learner very, very seriously. We know that we have a strategic plan, and that strategic plan is Journey 2025. But how do we really know if we met our strategic plan when we come to the year 2025? We will know when we have students walk across that stage and they're citizen ready, that they're creative thinkers, that they're innovative, that they're persistent, that they're goal oriented. All of those attributes are what we have dived into our curriculum and built within the content area. So our teachers have lessons where they are actually having students be creative, or lessons where our students are being stewards of the environment. Lots of different ways that we've embedded this profile. We also have an eagle eye focus in Newport News on equity and student inclusivity. So we've embedded diverse content so all our students feel like they are an integral part of their educational community. Next, we know that our students have lost a little bit of learning while they've been out of school. So we've put some things in place that are going to ensure that we cover lost learning. The first and foremost is having a K-12 reading and mathematics diagnostic tool. This is critical for our teachers to be able to have and identify where are the gaps in student learning, and not only whole group in their classroom, but really personalizing where those gaps are, and then revamping our lessons to ensure that we're meeting the needs of every single child in the classroom. We've increased our math instructional minutes. We had 60 minutes of mathematics instruction, and we've built in 90 minutes, 60 minutes of whole classroom, really focused deep in the curriculum, and then 30 additional minutes for personalizing learning, small group instruction, letting students get on Dreambox Math, different ways that we want to engage our students with mathematics. We also have every single K-5 teachers engaging in letters training for literacy. Letters is the science of reading, and every teacher by 2023 in Newport News will have had this training. And we've also changed our instructional reading routines within the classroom as well at the elementary level. We are focused on providing teachers and students more support and resources for varying levels of student readiness. So wherever that student is, they don't have to be with their peers. They can be working on their own, and we have resources to support them. Resources like Read 180, Newsella, Dreambox Math, System 44, and many other supports. We're also excited about introducing a new instructional model. This model has been around since 2008 and has been proven to have great results with students. Unfortunately, it requires one-to-one technology. So before the pandemic, we were unable to implement the blended learning model. And now, because every child has a Chromebook or an iPad, we are able to implement blended learning within the classroom. For those of you who don't know what blended learning is, it is a mix of face-to-face instruction and virtual online learning. This does not mean that our students go home to learn virtually online. It means that while a teacher is working with a small group, another group of students can be learning content online, while another group is collaborating on a discussion or reading articles or working on a project. That is what blended learning is all about, and we're excited to implement this in Newport News. And every teacher has been deeply involved and engaged in professional learning on blended learning since last spring. We also have a new learning management system. This is a statewide learning management system. Canvas is what it's called, and this helps support blended learning. This is where we put all our instructional resources, all the content, all the videos, all the assessments, all the activities are all within this one specific online resource. It is also a great way that we can communicate and partner with our families as parents are able to look within their students' content in Canvas and engage and learn a little bit more about what they're doing in the classroom. Lastly, we have two different learning opportunities for students in Newport News Public Schools. Last year, we really started to think about the students who are enjoying online learning. It's not many students, they have a difficult time learning online, but we also have some who really thrive within that environment. So we wanted to create an opportunity for those students to continue learning online even when we return to in-person instruction. So we came together as an instructional team, as a school leadership team, with teachers and other leaders within the buildings, and we created the Virtual Learning Academy. There was an application process, and students had the choice on whether or not they wanted to attend the VLA. We pilot this year with grades 9 through 12, and currently we have about 160 students enrolled. Some are full-time, taking all classes online, and some are part-time, meaning they go to class for your school for ROTC or for art, but then they're taking all their other courses online. The first day of school for the VLA begins September 8th. We also knew that through the pandemic, we would still have some parents who were concerned for safety, and we wanted to provide an option for them as well. We partnered with Virtual Virginia, which is a statewide online learning program. Students request to join the Virtual Virginia, but there was limited capacity. Virtual Virginia had a deadline for registration of July 15th, and the first day of school for these students began August 24th for secondary, and the first day of school is for our elementary students September 9th. All students that were on a wait list were enrolled prior this week. If you were not on the wait list at that time, then you should prepare for in-person instruction on September 8th. This concludes our brief operational and instructional overview. We will now provide all of you the opportunity to ask questions.
Thank you very much. And we have a number of questions coming in. We will start with Ms. Carlson. What strategies are in place for COVID outbreaks?
All of our health services employees are trained in contact tracing through the Virginia Department of Health and through Johns Hopkins University. We also have employed additional contact tracers, and that is their sole job to assist our health services staff in identifying close contacts of positive cases in our schools and our admin building and other buildings, and to identify close contacts if they were in contact with a person outside of Newport News Public Schools. If we identify a person who is a close contact, they will be called personally on the phone. For all students, of course, we will speak with their parents and we will let them know that their child has been identified as a close contact, and we will provide the days of quarantine. Same thing with any staff member of Newport News Public Schools. Anyone who is fully vaccinated and is identified as a close contact would not need to quarantine. We will advise that they monitor themselves for COVID-19 symptoms for 14 days, wear a mask at all times when they leave their home, and if they choose to test for COVID-19, to have a test at day 3 to 5 after the exposure to the positive case.
And Ms. Carlson, we have a quick follow-up question. Who conducts the contact tracing?
Again, all of the health services staff is trained in contact tracing. We do have additional employees that we have hired who are trained in contact tracing, and we work very closely with the Peninsula Health Districts with their epidemiologists.
Thank you. And our next question is for Dr. Parker. Dr. Parker, will all staff be required to get vaccinated?
At this time, that is still a personal choice in terms of vaccinations. We do have a high percentage of our staff who are currently vaccinated, well above 85%. We are continuing to encourage our staff to be vaccinated. As Mrs. Carlson just mentioned, that does impact whether a person would have to quarantine. It's important that we are able to maintain our instructional program. Our buses will still run, and we can't do that when folks are quarantining at home. So we are still encouraging vaccinations for all staff. However, it is still a personal choice. It definitely will impact our operational capacity moving forward.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Ms. Carlson, we have another health-related question. Will fully vaccinated students have to wear a mask?
Yes. According to the guidance from the Center for Disease Control and the Virginia Department of Health, at this time, everyone inside a public school building, regardless of their vaccination status, will wear a mask.
Thank you, Ms. Carlson. Our next question is for Dr. Parker. Dr. Parker, can you please explain why most of the student open houses are being held virtually this year?
Well, we want to still maintain a safe environment, so large group gatherings are still under this current health order is still not a smart thing to do. Even the in-person orientations and/or open house opportunities, we're staggering the participants to allow for smaller group gatherings. It's important that even under these conditions that we try to maintain smaller groups. That is a safer way to conduct these events, but we do have some in-person opportunities for students in terms of orientations as well.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Our next question is for Dr. Manglamott. Will we move to asynchronous virtual learning if there's an outbreak?
No, we will not be moving to asynchronous virtual learning. If your child is not already enrolled in virtual learning, then we will not be moving to that.
Thank you. Ms. Carlson, will schools be conducting temperature checks every day?
No, we are not doing daily temperature checks. That is not recommended as a mitigation strategy from the Center for Disease Control or from the Virginia Department of Health. There is a questionnaire we just redeveloped it. We did have 3 separate questionnaires, one for students, one for staff, and one for visitors. We did redo that. We have one daily health screening questionnaire that will be available online that we ask everyone complete that daily before coming into one of our buildings. Again, students, staff, and visitors will complete the same health screening questionnaire. Thank you.
Dr. Manglamott, will assignments be posted in Canvas if a child is out sick?
Assignments will be posted in Canvas every single day. We have an expectation across the division that our teachers put all assignments and activities into the Canvas learning management system. And that's the purpose of blended learning as well, regardless of whether a student is sick or they have to quarantine or if the teacher is sick. All assignments will be posted there every day.
Thank you. Dr. Parker, can students bring their own lunch?
That's a good question. We have allowed students to bring lunch in the past. We'll continue to do that. I'm going to defer to my child nutrition team to make sure that that's still permitted. It'll be in a future update as we open school. But that has been permitted in the past, and I believe we can, but I don't want to go on the record as saying yes without checking with the experts.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Dr. Manglamott, will mental health services still be available for students?
Yes, absolutely. We have a mental health therapist available in all of our schools in Newport News. They may not be full-time there, but they're available to all students everywhere.
Thank you. And Dr. Manglamott, we have another question for you. Will middle school students be provided with textbooks this year?
I think it depends on the content. Most of our textbooks are classroom sets, but a lot of our teachers are putting all materials, reading assignments, and everything within Canvas. So I'm not sure if the textbooks will even be needed this year. But again, that's based on the teacher, it's based on the class and the course and the content area.
Thank you. Dr. Parker, will classrooms be provided with air filtration systems?
So last year we began the investment of air purification systems in our schools that had an HVAC system that was older than 5 years. We felt that the newer HVAC systems meet all requirements, and airflow is fine in those schools. Where we're continuing to invest our money right now is to continue to make sure that schools with an HVAC system that's older than 5 years has an air purification device in every classroom. We're equipped to continue to provide the filters and the maintenance for those air purification systems. We plan to make that in a permanent commitment. But we're also working on checking our windows in our buildings to make sure we have proper airflow and ventilation. We do have a few additional HVAC projects coming up for some of the buildings that have older HVAC systems. So we're really committed in the future to continue to work on our air quality in all of our schools, in particular our aging buildings.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Dr. Manglamott, will elementary students be allowed to share their supplies?
No, elementary students will not be sharing their supplies. Guidance has been provided to all elementary teachers on the safety precautions within the classroom. And if you have further questions, just reach out to your classroom teacher and they can answer those for you.
Dr. Parker or Dr. Manglamott, how can a new student get a Chromebook?
Well, that's a good question. Well, we have the line for the help desk, and each individual school will provide further guidance for new enrollments in the guidance office and as they report to classes. If you'd like to have access to a device prior to the start of school, I would say call the help desk number to get that Chromebook, and we'll post that number again up here before we conclude this evening.
And I can share that number, Dr. Parker. The Technology Help Desk is 757-928-6979. Again, that's 928-6979. Ms. Carlson, will students with special needs have to wear a mask?
No, they will not. If a student is unable to put the mask on themselves or take the mask off themselves, they will not be required to wear a mask.
Thank you. Dr. Manglamott, will elementary school students still have recess?
Yes. Our elementary students will still have recess. We will do appropriate social distancing. They can have a mask break during recess as well. We can't have them congregating in large groups or even small little clusters, but we're going to allow them to go outside, get some fresh air, and take the mask off.
Thank you. And Dr. Manglamott, we have another question for you. Will we continue to have after-school activities?
That's a good question. Absolutely, we will have after-school activities planned. Our extended learning coordinator will be setting that up based on an invite and based on student academic progress. But most of our activities will be done during the school day. As you know, there is, we have transportation concerns. We have, we're in need of bus drivers, and so it will limit the amount of after-school activities we have.
And Ms. Carlson, I think you addressed this, but we have people that are steadily joining our Facebook Live. Will students be required to wear masks outside during recess?
Dr. Manglamott just addressed part of that question. If they're able to maintain social distancing and not gathering in clusters or large groups, they're going to be allowed to have mask breaks. For instance, if you had a child who was playing with sidewalk chalk, they could take their mask off. If they're all on the playground equipment in a large group, then masks should be worn.
And I have a follow-up question. If a student has asthma, they will be required to wear a mask?
That is correct.
And if they have to wear their mask during recess, can families opt out of recess?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, we are collecting all of the questions, and we will use that as a basis for our back to school frequently asked questions. So we will get that information on our website as soon as we can. Ms. Carlson, how are we doing anything to encourage students or to remind them to wear their mask?
Yes, that will be done throughout the day. Of course, we're asking all adults in the buildings to wear their mask to model good behavior for the students, but they will be reminded to properly wear their masks throughout the day. But no one's going to get in trouble or sent to detention because they don't have their mask on properly. It will just be friendly reminders.
Thank you. Dr. Manglamott, if a student has to quarantine, how will we continue their learning?
That's a really good question. We've planned for that. We're providing guidance to our principals. It's coming out in a principal's memo this Thursday. All activities, like I said before, assignments and activities will be in Canvas. Now, when they're quarantined, instruction will be mainly asynchronous, but they will have all their instructional materials within the Canvas learning management system. If there's a child in pre-K through grades 1, it may be in Seesaw, which is a kind of like a younger version of a learning management system, but either way, we will have activities provided for our students. In our younger grades, the beginning of school, we will provide packets to our parents because some of our pre-K students, our kindergartners, may not know how to navigate through Seesaw or the Canvas learning management system. And so we want to be prepared, and we're providing paper packets, but we're also putting the materials within a Google Drive if a parent wants an electronic copy.
Thank you. Ms. Carlson, will employees be notified if there's an exposure in close quarters, for example, on a school bus?
Will employees be notified?
Yes.
Yes. If we have a positive case anywhere within our division, a letter of notification is sent to all families and to all staff members of the building where the positive case occurred. So as the question said, on a bus, yes, we would notify the children on the bus driver. If there was a bus attendant, they would all be notified of the positive case.
Thank you. Dr. Manglamott, will music and band classes be held this fall?
Yes, all music and band classes will be held. There are CDC guidance and VDOE guidance that we provided to all our teachers. Depending on the class and the situation, there are certain social distancing requirements and mask requirements. But if you have a question about what those are, please reach out to your music or your band teacher, and they will be able to provide those in more detail for you.
Ms. Carlson, will students be required to get the COVID vaccine before attending school?
No, they will not at this time. Again, the vaccine is not approved for children 12 and under. We are encouraging children 12 and older to receive the Pfizer vaccine, which is approved for their age group, but it is not a requirement.
Dr. Manglamott, if a student has to stay home to quarantine, will that be considered an absence if they continue to participate through virtual learning?
That's a great question. As long as they're participating and they're turning in activities, they're asking questions, they're doing everything that's asked of them, they will be marked as in attendance and they will not be marked absent.
Thank you. And our next question for you, Dr. Mengelmont, is whether or not a student can use their personal computer, or do they have to use the school-issued Chromebook?
Personal choice. We do encourage personal choice, but unfortunately with the technology, there is a clever portal, everything is single sign-on, so it's much easier for students if they bring their Chromebook to school. Now what they choose to do at home is a different choice, but when they're in school, we ask that they bring their Chromebook and they bring it charged.
Thank you. Dr. Mengelmont, will first graders be shown where to go on their first day of school?
Absolutely they will. All students will be shown where they're to report the first day of school, but we are very, very careful and thoughtful of new students and our younger students coming into the building for the first time. A lot of them are scared, some are excited, but we definitely will get them where they need to be.
Thank you. Dr. Mengelmont, will there be an extension to apply for the Virtual Learning Academy or Virtual Virginia?
Those are such good questions. Unfortunately for this year, teachers are a limited resource. So we are at capacity in both the Virtual Learning Academy, and Virtual Virginia has reached its capacity. As you know, the registration ended in July. We had parents go on a wait list if they wanted to request, and they just opened up some slots recently for us, and we enrolled as many students as we could into Virtual Virginia, but right now they have told us they are at full capacity.
Thank you. One more question while we're with you, Dr. Mengelmont. Will Virtual Learning Academy students have separate teachers from those who are learning in person?
We actually have just a few teachers that are out of division. Most of our Virtual Learning Academy teachers are Newport News public school teachers. So they will have a teacher who's in the division, but it may not be their school teacher. So it may not be, if they're at Menchville, it could be a heritage teacher. So it just depends on the course and who we hired for that particular position.
Thank you, Dr. Mengelmont. Earlier in our presentation, we shared when the next student vaccine clinic is going to be held. We said Tuesday, September 14th. The time is 3 to 6 p.m. at Warwick High School. Again, the next student vaccine clinic will be held on September 14th from 3 to 6 p.m. at Warwick High School. Dr. Mengelmont, will parents be able to pull their child out for lunch?
That's a great question, and I think, do we have school leadership on the line to answer that, or Dr. Parker, can you do that for us?
Well, we will check with our school leadership team as far as parent access to students. That question really goes into visitations during the school day and access to students during the instructional day. As you know, last year we limited access for adults, volunteers during the instructional day. And we will set further guidance based on this current health order in terms of accessing school students during the instructional days. We obviously, parents, you can come to pick up your child at any time. You're always welcome in our schools. However, we are limiting access to classrooms during the instructional day for visitors in the building. So we'll have further guidance at the school level regarding that if you will continue to check with your building level administration. We'll have further guidance for them as far as any limitations with school visits. I'd like to go ahead and respond. I did get a response about the lunches, and my response was positive that students would be able to bring their own lunch to school. So unless you hear anything otherwise, it's a go for lunch, all right, for student lunches. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. And we also have an update from our technology department. And they share that students cannot bring their personal devices. They are encouraged to please bring their Chromebook and their iPad to school. Students' personal devices cannot connect to our network. So again, we encourage all of our students to bring their Newport News Public School issued Chromebook or iPad fully charged and ready to go every day with them when they come to school. Dr. Parker, one of our parents is wondering why we are all coming back to in-person learning.
So in my initial remarks, I mentioned that there was a Senate bill passed, 1303, that required schools to start the school year with in-person instruction and to follow CDC guidance to the greatest extent possible. This is a Commonwealth directive based on the General Assembly bill that was passed. We're adhering to that guidance. I just want to make a note to our community that while school divisions were not required to provide virtual opportunities for students, Newport News, we created a virtual learning academy which we're piloting this year and plan to continue to expand those opportunities for students. But we also partnered with Virtual Virginia to provide other alternatives. We are required to provide 5 days of in-person instruction for students this year and to return our students to in-person instruction. And we'll do that as safely as possible in accordance with proper CDC guidance.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. We did have a participant ask, when will bus schedules be posted online? And as Dr. Parker shared earlier, the bus schedules are online today. So please log on to nnschools.org and click on the bus stop tab. Once you get there, you can enter your student's address, select a grade, and select a specialized program, and that information will come up, and that will give you the bus stop that is closest to your home residence. We also had another question whether or not all students will be receiving Chromebooks, and the answer is yes. All students will be issued a Newport News Public School device, and as Dr. Parker shared, our younger students will be receiving iPads. Ms. Carlson, how will we ensure the safety of unvaccinated students during lunchtime?
We are, for the first 2 weeks of school, the students will all be eating in their classrooms, and we will be maintaining social distancing to the greatest extent possible. And of course, if we have a child who tests positive, we will conduct our contact tracing to identify close contacts and notify families of that exposure if it occurs.
And I have another question for you, Ms. Carlson. Is Newport News Public Schools going to perform COVID testing? And will students be tested for COVID without parental consent?
We would never test a student without parental consent, just as we would never give the flu vaccine without parental consent. And we are considering doing testing in schools. We are working with the Virginia Department of Health, and more information will come out about that as we progress to offering it to our students and our staff members.
Thank you. Dr. Parker, will we be conducting after-school activities at the secondary level?
Absolutely. We would like to get our students back to a semblance of normalcy, and that involves extracurricular activities and sports. We understand that with any activity there is limited risk, and we have asked all of our athletic programs to provide safety plans for their programs, specific to their programs. We also may have additional measures that we'll be adding for any sports that are contact-based sports or sports that are conducted on the inside of the building, such as a gymnasium. But we are encouraging activities at the secondary level. Some of those activities may be able to be conducted virtually, but we want to get students engaged as much as possible, and that means trying to make sure that we can provide students as many opportunities as possible, both virtually and in person.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Dr. Manglamont, is there a plan for We Leap or extended learning this year?
That's a good question. There will be a plan for We Leap and extended learning. That plan is not out yet. It's being developed right now. A lot of our after-school programs at the elementary and middle school for academic remediation or intervention will be by invite only. And so, again, we're developing plans right now, so look to your school for more information coming out in the next month or so.
Thank you. And one of our family members who are engaging with us asked us again for the email for opting out of bus transportation, and that is bus opt-out, that is BUSOPTOUT at nn.k12.va.us. You just use that email, and please include your child's full name and their school. And we appreciate your support and assistance with that. Dr. Manglamont, is there a plan if students need to switch from in-person to virtual because of a COVID exposure?
There is a plan right now for quarantining if a student is exposed. Right now, we do not have a plan for switching to virtual. Again, we're following the safety mitigation strategies, and we're hopeful that we won't have to move in that direction. We're always thinking, we're always planning, trying to think ahead. So if something comes up, we will have a plan for our teachers, our students, and our families.
Thank you. Dr. Parker, how often will classrooms be cleaned?
We'll follow the same cleaning schedule we did last year, where we have our custodial staff will clean the rooms several times during the week, but also do deeper cleaning during certain portions and on weekends. So the exact days I'll have to will be posted in our safety plan, but you can assure that our custodians will do a semblance of daily cleaning, but also deeper cleaning at least twice a week during the week, and that information will be posted in our safety plan for school start.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Dr. Manglamont, are exchange students eligible to receive a Chromebook?
All students in Newport News who are attending our schools will receive a Chromebook.
And Dr. Manglamont, will students be allowed to use their backpacks this year?
That's a very good question. I don't think that I've heard whether we've discussed that or not, but I'm sure our school leadership have discussed that with their principals. So again, just ask your school principal, ask your classroom teacher, and they'll be able to give you that information.
Backpacks right now I think is a yes. Right now we're still deliberating on lockers. So students bringing their own backpacks, I don't think is a problem. And I hope not, because we just gave out over several hundred of them at the Southeast Community Coalition this past weekend. So I would hope to see those backpacks being used in our schools. Lockers is where we're working out within our safety plan how we could still, whether we'll be able to provide access to lockers this year at the secondary, in particular at the secondary level.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. I think that addressed one of our questions. Will middle school students be allowed to use lockers? So please stay tuned for more information. And fortunately, tomorrow, the school division is hosting in-person student orientations for middle school students. So your schools will address that. And for families in the evening, we're hosting virtual open houses. So you can certainly find out more information from your school administrators. Dr. Manglamont, are there virtual options available to students who just moved into Newport News?
Currently, there are no options for virtual instruction. You can ask your principal to be put on the wait list. If Virtual Virginia has a slot open, they're taking students off of the wait list. But again, they've already started class. Secondary started on August 24th. Our elementary start on September 9th. So they will only take students if slots open probably another 2 weeks.
Thank you. Ms. Carlson, will the school division continue to update the COVID-19 dashboard?
Yes, we do plan to do that. The metrics have changed per the VDH, and that already is reflective on the dashboard. And yes, we will update data. We do it weekly. We track the data Sunday through Monday, or Monday through Sunday makes more sense. Sorry about that. But yes, we will continue.
Thank you. Dr. Parker, will all schools be providing free lunch this school year?
Currently, we still plan to provide free lunch to all students in Newport News Public Schools. We are fortunate to be one of only a handful of divisions in this Commonwealth of Virginia that provide free lunch. So that is a service that will continue to provide moving forward.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Ms. Carlson, will students have to wear masks on the school bus?
Yes, they will. The school bus is considered mass transportation, and everyone on mass transportation will wear a mask. So even if the order to wear masks in schools is lifted by the governor, everyone on the bus will still need to wear a mask.
Thank you, Ms. Carlson. We had another question posed. Can I exchange my Chromebook for another one? We presume that perhaps the Chromebook has been damaged. But as we shared at the start of this session and on our website, families may call the help desk at 928-6979 or visit one of our Chromebook clinics this week to swap out their Chromebook. And our next question, Ms. Carlson, will classrooms and bathrooms continue to be cleaned and sanitized throughout the school day?
Yes, the bathrooms will be cleaned 3 to 4 times a day, and the classrooms each classroom has a wellness station, and the station allows the teacher and the students to assist in keeping the classroom clean. The station contains disinfectant wipes, hand sanitizer, hand soap, and masks. And of course, our objective there is to create a healthy learning environment for all students.
Thank you. Dr. Parker, where might our families and students find our safety plan?
Updated information regarding safety will be in our school start plan that will be that's posted online. We'll continue to update information and continue to update information throughout the year as CDC guidance and VDH guidance changes throughout the year. So we will definitely have a single source this year for information, and we encourage you to visit our website. You also can go specifically to your school if you want specific school-related safety information. All schools are a little different, so they do work internally to develop safety protocols in there that are specific to their school site, such as traffic patterns, which way kids, how they will process visitors to the building, those type of specific things that may be germane to a specific school. So I would encourage you to also continue to have communication and ask questions with your school administration regarding the safety protocols in that particular building.
And we have another question about school schedules, about when they'll be posted for students. And beginning tomorrow, our middle school schedules will be posted in Parent View and Student View. And high school student schedules will be posted on Friday, September 3rd in Parent View and Student View. Dr. Parker, is there a limit to the number of students that can be in a classroom?
Right now our plan is to look at maximum social distancing possible and to limit class size to allow for maximum distancing. And we have not set a certain limit on how many students would be in a class because some of our classrooms have varying sizes. And that may be building specific. So classes may be limited based on the size of the classroom, whereas other classes may have a larger capacity and may have one or two additional students. So it varies building to building and by the size of the classrooms. But again, maximum opportunities for social distancing is our goal as we move into this school year.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. And Ms. Carlson, I think you have the honor of having the last question for the evening. Can students bring their own sanitizer and disinfectant wipes?
I don't see why not. The only thing that we do not allow in the schools is bleach, like Clorox bleach. And the reason for that is that the odor of the bleach could cause some of our asthmatic students to have breathing difficulties.
Okay, so thank you for that. I think they can bring their own hand sanitizer. We appreciate that. That's all the questions that we have time for this evening, but we certainly have taken fantastic notes, and we will go back through all of our questions, and we will try to address as many as we can on our website. And we encourage everyone to visit nnschools.org and click on our Back to School session or our Back to School webpage to ensure that you have the most up-to-date information. And Dr. Parker, I'm going to ask if you'd like to close us out.
Well, as always, we're excited regarding the opening of school. It's always a special time. For many of our students, this may be over a year since they've walked into a school building, and for some, they may have been with us this summer. But we want to ensure our parents and community that we will be prepared for a great start to the school year. We encourage you to also be active partners with us in maintaining safety in our schools, maintaining our safety protocols by having discussions with your child, and following the rules that we have in place, because it's only going to allow us to provide the best instructional experience possible for your child this year. And we're committed to doing that. So with that being said, we'll get the year started with your support. Parents who can drive, please consider driving your child and have a great start to your school year.